Good day everyone. I am Joanna Belle Monje from Group 4 and I am going to discuss different learning modalities and learning motivation and its type. Learning different learning modalities. Students who learn through this modality can. Every student is a unique learner who comes to school with different ways of learning. Learning modalities are methods we use to learn using our senses. For example, reviewing something for quiz, exam, or even performance task. We all have different ways of strategies of learning. In education, the four learning modalities are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile. Four learning modalities in education. Visual learning style. Visual learners are preferred to learn through image and graphics. Students who are visual learners are great at visual presentations and learning through image. The visual learners listen best by seeing, visualizing, drawing, diagramming, or in other words, you know something by seeing and understand or remember things by sight. Teaching ideas. Model learning through guided practices and demonstration, or they learn through watching demonstration. Provide graphs and image rather than articles to read, or they learn through graphs and image. Encourage students to take well-organized notes, or they learn through visual note-taking. Provide graphic organizers such as mind maps for students, or the visual learner learns through graphic organizer. Auditory learning style. Auditory learners prefer to learn through listening. Students who are auditory learners will do well learning through listening to music or storytelling, but struggle with silence. The auditory learners learns by listening, talking to others and self, or in other words, they know something by hearing it, or they understand the concept when it explained out loud. Teaching ideas. Provide storytelling and story-based instruction, or they learn through listening to stories. Provide podcasts for homework help, or they learn through talking things through. Encourage conversation and social learning scenarios in the classroom, or they learn through conversation. Ask the student to verbally repeat information or instruction to you to help remember them, or they learn through verbal repetition of information. Kinesthetic learning style. Kinesthetic learning is learning that takes place through bodily movements. Students who are kinesthetic learners like to learn things by being physical, such as doing sports. Kinesthetic learners learns best by doing through movement and physical activity, and by using a hands-on approach. When we say kinesthetic learner, they are the natural doers. Teaching ideas. Encourage role-playing during learning, or they learn through a interpretative dance. Allow your student to move around the classroom or go outside to let off extra steam, or they learn through a sports. Tactile learning style. Tactile learners learn through touch. They understand things best when they can physically touch them. They like to use fine motor skills to feel textures, get an understanding of size of things, and so on. They are different to kinesthetic learners because they are not focused on moving their bodies, but simply touching and manipulating the thing they are working with. This style is often called multisensory learning. Teaching ideas. bring many props into the classroom, and allow the student to touch and play with them, or they learn through a physical touch. Allow the student to doodle while they listen to you, or they learn through moving, building, and manipulating objects. Learning motivation and its type. Motivation. Johnstone considered motivation as a stimulant for achieving a specific target. Similarly, according to Ryan and Desi, to be motivated means to progress or to be in motion to do something. Sabi ni Johnstone, i-consider natin yung motivation as stimulant dahil nakaka-increase ito ng pagmamotivate sa isang individual or para sa sarili para matapos or ma-achieve niya yung target niya. And according to Ryan and Desi, para mas ma-motivate, kailangan may progress or may pag-unlad. Kailangan may gawin muna. And being by motion, kailangan paganahin yung utak o katawan natin as best as they can be. According to Gardner and Lambert, there are two types of motivation, integrative and instrumental. The integrative motivation means learning the language with the intention of participants in the culture. Or the integrative motivation, for example, employees' feelings when they want to be part of the company and thrives with it. They want to join or becoming part of it. Integrative motivation means a desire to identify oneself to the community. And instrumental motivation suggests and implies that a learner learns the language in support of a purpose relating to occupation or further useful motive. Or the instrumental motivation refers to a practical or pragmatic reason for language only study that one drives human being to achieving goals and objects, and a learner with instrumental motivation is more interested. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. There is also another concept in the field of motivation introduced by Ryan and Desi as self-motivation theory. Ryan and Desi say that support of a purpose relating to occupation or further useful motive. Or the instrumental motivation refers to a practical or pragmatic reason for language only study that one drives human being to achieving goals and objects, and a learner with instrumental motivation is more interested. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. There is also another concept in the field of motivation introduced by Ryan and Desi as self-motivation theory. Ryan and Desi say that self-determination theory categorizes and tells apart diverse types of motivation in accordance with different rational causes or targets, which strengthen a deed or an achievement. In proportion to this theory, the most fundamental difference is between intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. In intrinsic motivation is the eagerness and interest to take part in some certain activities because an individual feels that they are attractive and pleasant. Intrinsic motivation or internal. It is the act of doing something without obvious external rewards. You do it because it's enjoyable and interesting. Extrinsic motivation is the opposite of intrinsic. It is the act by doing something because it have rewards such as money,